If you don't ask for what you want, employers are under no obligation to give you anything. And that was a statement that was given to me by one of my very, very first mentors when it came to the business world and how things operate as an employee. That's what I learned. That you have to be vocal at work, you have to say things, you have to advocate for yourself. And one of the issues, the main causes of stress that exist for employees uh, in the workplace as a whole is they don't know how to speak up for themselves and advocate for themselves. I've seen this time and time again, and where folks just why aren't things just happening as if there is an obligation from an employer to read your mind about the struggles and the issues that you're having in your life? Like they're just supposed to be able to pull that out of thin air. And that is one of the issues we're going to talk about here. I've got an article from Fast Company we're going to look at, but it is hands down the most the biggest thing that I deal with when I'm coaching employees, being in my time in industry where I was a supervisor and a leader and running companies, to here as a business coach that I do currently, and when I'm in organizations and just talking with teams. You have to be able to sell exactly what you need to the employer, and you have to be able to articulate that. Period. Dot. So let's get into it here. Again, for those that don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I am a business coach who works out of West Michigan and around the country. I help businesses get ready to sell at very high multiples. I come here live on YouTube pretty consistently every single day, sharing information I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscriptions. Let's get into this here. So, 4 ways to be more selfish at work. Yes, see this right here. We want that point. You need to advocate for yourself. You have to do it, and it comes down to asking what you want. So many times when you're getting, let's say, let's talk about annual reviews, right? Everyone's favorite topic, not just to give an annual review, but also to receive them, because typically businesses, against my advice, to have an annual review, and they're going to talk about compensation in the same meeting, which is completely against what I coach, but it happens all the time. There you are, you're in the review, and all you're thinking about is what your pay raise is going to be. Like it's okay, everyone does it. You want to know what compensation is going to be. And if you do the compensation at the beginning of the meeting, you say, "Hey, here's what your raise is going to be. Here's what the, increase is going to be for this year." Now all you're thinking about is, did it meet your expectations? And you're not listening to the feedback, right? And then on the flip side of that, if they do the raise at the end of the meeting, right after the review, you're really not paying attention to the review because you're thinking about how much is my raise going to be. So it's just a mess across the board. But that's the side of it here. Employees, you keep coming into the meeting with waiting to see what the employer is going to dole out to you, when in reality, that conversation needs to be an ongoing conversation about your compensation and the value that you're bringing to the business. Okay. And that's what we want you to get better at, better understanding about uh, of why and how you should get better at asking for what you want. Okay. It's a vast majority of people. They suck at this. And it's this first sentence. Stop being so humble at work. When it comes to forging a career path in the moment that is shaped by increasing flexibility, pervasive layoffs, and company loyalty than ever, right? Following the old rules and quietly waiting for opportunities will no longer cut it. And frankly, this is the thing that people forgot about. The people who moved up the career ladder didn't wait for opportunities to show up. They went and made those opportunities happen. They pushed themselves into the room. It was where was it Sheryl Sandberg, where the title of her book is Lean In. It's where folks who have been successful over time, they lean in and say, "Hey, I'm going to be recognized." Now, wildly counterintuitive. The reality is that today, career success requires us to be more outspoken, vocal, and self-directed. For many of us, this feels wildly and counterintuitive and deeply uncomfortable. As elder millennials and general Gen X workers, we were raised inside of cubicles and taught to keep our heads down, assimilate, and pursue slow climb up a prescribed career ladder, which works well for the vast majority of people. That's actually not terrible advice. The Japanese have a phrase, right? The nail that sticks out gets hit and gets struck. So just blend in and go along. But that environment doesn't exist anymore. It hasn't existed for quite some time. There's a constant churn that's going on in businesses now, and they're looking for folks who are going to be, the whole self-starter thing or whatever. Anyways, meanwhile, as we watch as our young counterparts boldly start their own companies, juggle side hustles, draw clear boundaries at work, and build their identities online. Again, this is the individual here, coaches executives all the time who privately express distaste at seeing professionals muddy the boundaries of what we are and are not allowed to say, express, or expect in work settings. It appears too entitled, tone deaf for these workers think and talk about their needs and wants so much. But the truth is, and this is where it comes back to, I have never, and right here, when I'm dealing with again young men and women who are in the Gen Z world, and we're talking with them, even the younger millennials, they have no problem whatever saying exactly what's on their mind, how they feel, and they just put it out into the ether. I will take that over what is the typical office environment that I've grown up in, which is where no one says anything and all they do is whine and complain and throw daggers at each other behind their backs. I'd rather just get it out, have a little fight. To quote the great warrior poet Eminem, what's a little fight? Tomorrow we'll be boys again. I'd rather just have the words come out. And that's where Gen Z, again, if you're not prepared for it, that's a you problem. That's what I always go back to. If you're as a Gen X, elder millennial, if you can't handle the fact someone's saying exactly what they're looking for in life, that's a you problem. And you need to adjust the way that you look at the world. Okay. So anyways, let's get back into it. So getting what we want. Here's what Gen Z knows, and we all need to learn. When we take time to explore and advocate for ourselves more vocally at work, it helps us and our colleagues to succeed and thrive. And it's because you're not silently suffering. Think about one of the things, our parents, right? Let's go back in time. I'm 46. 46? Yeah, 46. I'll be 47 this year. And one of the things that I just remember clearly, as again, early in my career across the board, is the amount of silent suffering that went on because you knew your place and you just didn't complain. You were grateful for the work, and who are you to complain to the boss about how many crumbs they want to throw your way? And that was the mentality that was there with so many employees. And then from employers, it was the great man syndrome, right? That great man thing where it's this person, how dare you question me? I'm up here as your boss and I am providing blah, 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 blah. And it just wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. Remember, we all hated it. So why would we be upset about a group of young men and women who are come saying we're not going to follow the same path that you had because that path sucks? So, okay, let's give this one a try. And that's the idea here. And what I've done for my entire career is I wasn't quiet. I wasn't going to be that person. And that's what I coach employees, but I also coach employers to ensure they are cultivating this type of mentality within their organizations. Speak up. It's okay to say what you expect. We're going to have a discussion about it. And let's see if we can make it work. If not, I at least know where you want to get to, and we can work on a path to get you there. That is the mentality we want to have here. Okay. Now, here's some things you want to look at. Now, if you're not sure, like if you're queasy, you're not sure exactly how to even start these conversations, this is where the vast majority of people suffer with, because they are so, again, Americans as a whole, we are conflict like averse. We don't like to have difficult, even some semi-difficult conversations. And here in the Midwest, I'm in Michigan, there is a thing called West Michigan Nice, where we people avoid having any sort of difficult conversation. Now, it's get along to go along type of thing. But all that means is everybody is more miserable because they're not advocating, right? So here's how I coach this. And it was great to see this in this article. And that's what I want to share. So we want to revisit your past desires. This is step one. Very best way to begin this process for anyone who feels adrift or unsure what they want their careers is to look backward and revisit the past. Yesterday's video that I had was specifically about how at this age, right, between 38, 45, 44, 45, there's a reason people start questioning, are they in the right business? Are they doing the right thing? Are they in the right area? And it's because they're starting to reminisce about what they thought work was going to be and where they're currently at, right? It's not a midlife crisis per se, but it's a midlife discussion, right? They're thinking about it. This is how it starts. Just think back, because a lot of things as we're going through work, right? We don't know what to do. We start with where we think we're currently at. And we're like, how did I get here? When I got into this, when I got into the working world, when came an adult, I wanted to do, I had aspirational goals and ideas. When in reality now, it's the antithesis of aspirational ideas. I have bills to pay. There's things I can do. So if you want to know kind of, hey, what do I really want to do with my life? Reflect back to what you think and what you enjoyed. Where I got into this work, I enjoy teaching. I enjoy coaching. It's where I just feel the best. So I've found a way over time to be able to work with business owners to help them build companies that are valuable, that can sell. Now, if you're a business owner that is curious about, hey, what's the value of my business? I'm thinking about, getting ready to sell. Go down in the description. You'll see a link to my value builder assessment. It's free. It takes about 15 minutes. Fill it out. And it's going to give you a score, 0 to 100, kind of where you're at within your business and the ability and how sellable it is and what the multiple might be. Okay. So anyways, go check it out. It's down in the description. Go check that out. So, um, but anyways, as we're going through this, you got into business, you're an employee, you started with something, now where you're at. Now we're looking, again, we're going to talk about early interests here. That we want to go deep down just to see what the stuff you like. Favorite moments. Now I love this piece here. It's another way to come back. So what did you want to, what was your altruistic, what was your, ethereal ideas that you had? And now you're at work. What's your favorite part? What do you actually enjoy about work? Now this is going to lead somewhere about how to ask for what you're looking for. Okay. Um, does it when you just like to be left alone and grind? Right? Are you the person that does not need to be around folks? When I'm left alone to just work on my work, I'm the happiest I can be. Cool. We love that. Or are you the person that I need to be in a social situation to where I can talk to people, I can connect with people, I can teach, where I can spend time speaking with clients, whatever it happens to be. Understand what you really enjoy the most about your work. Get that figured out and write these things out. So far the steps have been, when you first, think back earlier when you're younger, what did you even want to do? Like, why did you even want to start working? What were you thinking about? And now that you've had an opportunity for some time to work in your business, right, in your career, what do you actually enjoy about the work that you do? Not every job is terrible all the way through. And I've had terrible jobs, folks. Um, there's always there's always some sort of green shoot or bright spot. So what do you enjoy about that piece? And also the other spot here is like, what's your ideal weekly cadence? Do you like being in person, or do you prefer, do you just prefer the Zoom calls because then you can get right back to work? Because you don't have to go and sit in a meeting and deal with people. Whatever, it's just capture exactly what it is about what you're doing that you enjoy the most. Okay, so we want to write those down. That's going to be important part of this. And additionally, has it changed over time? That's one that I really want you to just spend some time on. When you were younger, did you just want to be around people? But now that you're older and you're in a different position per se, what's changed? What has now you need more time to be able to focus and work on things? That's okay. Just make sure you can articulate that. But why do you think it's changed over time? We want to get to the bottom of that. It's going to help you while you're having your discussion with the owner, with the boss. Like, it's super important, folks. Next is going to be seek out new inspiration. One of the things that I always recommend for individuals who are trying to figure out their new path in life, and this includes entrepreneurs and business owners that I work with, is okay, what is it that gets you juiced up? Like, when is it, there's folks that they will be doing their job, they'll be in the industry that they have, and yet they go over to another facet, right? What I've seen a lot, whereas the folks that are in IT, this is where I've seen a lot of this, but then I give them an opportunity to solve a new problem and they get inspired. They're like, hey, I need you to work on this process, something over here, and it's not even in your world. Do you have time to devote to this? Figure this out? Yes. And it's this new level of ideas and thoughts that they get to explore. And what ends up happening is they now have take the information, the way that they typically go after their IT problems, they remap them out in real world stuff, and it gets them inspired to then come back and then, hey, this is what I enjoy doing. I like problem solving. And for a lot of my IT guys, they end up being okay, pretty okay, not amazing, but pretty okay project managers because of their ability to come through and problem solve for folks. So it's one of those things like where they're inspiration. Right now, other spot you want to have here is, who do you look for inspiration? At a certain point in your life, everybody in their business world goes through the podcast phase and goes through the leadership book phase. Everyone does it. It's okay. It's an important thing to be exposed to those new thoughts that you may never have had before, right? Or and a new way to look at the world, a new window to perceive how things are going on. So, who is it that when you look at them and you're inspired by them, they give you a new way to view the world? Understand who those people are, but then ask, how is it that, what is it about them that inspires you? Um, there's Gary Vee is one of these cats that's out there. He's high energy, he's a marketing dude, and he's got a great story arc to go through. The way that Gary Vee does work is very inspiring for folks. I don't necessarily care for a lot of the stuff that he does, but he's inspiring in the way that he is. It's not just that he's real, it's in the way that he comes in, he inspires other people into action. That's what I like about what Gary Vee does. So he's one of those folks that when I need a refresh and I'm not personally able to get traction with folks and my clients or whatever I'm working with, I'll go and just binge Gary Vee for a couple hours. I just let's get it out. And I'm going to pick up and realize and remember one or two things in the way that I speak or talk, in the way that I'm interacting. Like, oh yeah, that's what I was forgetting. And now that's where I get my inspiration, or where I get my, like some of my drive from. So who do you have? How is the things as far as for inspiration, and what is that you look for? Same thing. Don't be afraid to talk to these folks. There's folks on Twitter, X. I send them messages, and if I want to talk to someone, I'll send them a message. And it's a crapshoot. Sometimes they'll get back with you. It's one of those weird things. Don't be afraid to reach out to folks. They may be local. If there's a local leader that is really impressive to you, send them an email, have a phone call, go to a chamber event, just go talk to them. If there's someone in your company that you see them working, just go talk to people. You will be amazed. And this is one of those weird things where folks think you don't be worried about bothering someone if you have questions and want to know how they go about living their life. This is one of the things you have to get over, and it's good practice as well. Okay. Now, last thing here is going to be speak up at work and beyond. Now, we're going to leave it here. Okay. Now, again, link to this article is in the description because we're going to talk about speaking up at work. This is where the people screw this up. Okay. So we've gotten to the whole point here. We've thought about what we really want to do. We've done some testing in some other areas. We've talked to all sorts of people. We're ready to go. We've got a good idea about what we want to be able to advocate for ourselves at work, be it more money, a different position, a change in position, how we're operating, whatever it happens to be. Here's what I need you to understand. You've just spent months thinking, weeks, months, days, whatever the time frame is, thinking about this, and now you are prepared to go talk to your boss. Just because you've spent time thinking about this doesn't mean anyone else has. So you have to understand, you have to set the stage. You have to provide your boss an opportunity to think about what you've been thinking about. And I need you to understand you are now in sales mode. You are trying to sell the boss, sell whoever on why you deserve what it is you're asking for. So this is where I see people screw this up all the time. They've done all this work. They got a full presentation. They come in, they have a meeting with the boss. They do a present, which just happened to me on multiple occasions. They do this presentation, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this because I'm not going to give you an answer right now because I got to think about it. Like, and they're upset and they're frustrated and they're defeated. When in reality, what they've done is a lack of professional courtesy. You want to have a conversation with the boss. Let the boss know, hey, I want to be able to talk to you about my compensation, some other opportunity here. I don't want to do it now, but what I'd like to do is get you some information. Can we get some time on the calendar for, again, next week, later this week, to give them time to review and kind of understand what you want to talk to them about? If you go in full speed at anyone, the answer is no. And it comes from a risk management standpoint. If I don't have time, again, as the boss, to think about what it is that anyone's trying to do, I don't say yes to stuff. I say no. It's no for right now. Yes, maybe later, but right now it's a no because I need time to process it and evaluate it across the entire, scheme of what's going on. If you want, let's say, again, let's just use an example. Let's say you are in your position and you want to work, you work in section A and you want to go start working with section B. You come to me and say, hey, I want to be able to move over here to be able to go into section B. folks, I'd be like, okay, well, I have to ask some questions. I need to do some work for you because I want to go talk to section B and have a conversation. And where are they at? What do they need? How would you be a good fit? How could you possibly work in there? There's conversations that have to go on. And that's same thing with a raise. You come in and say, hey, I want a 5% raise. I want a 10% raise because I've done X number of work. Cool. Give me okay, well let's have a conversation about what you're at, what you've been delivering, what you're going to deliver, and then I have to go to the budget office. I have to go talk to people because my budget is going to change if I'm giving you a raise. There's capital decisions that have to be made. So that's what I mean, folks, is that do all the work. But then it is just because you've done all the work, the ask is actually in the preparation. So do all the work, get everything prepared, let your boss know that you want to talk about these things, but not at the moment. Say in a little bit, give them information, say, have a time to think about it. And then you can go and ask your questions. Now, when you go in there, you just understand you're going to have all that adrenaline going. You're going to have the little shakes at the beginning. You're going to be nervous. That takes about 45 to 60 seconds for you to burn through that adrenaline. And once you're through that, just start talking. And before you know it, you'll get to your point there. Okay. Now, should you expect that you do all this work and you're going to get what you want? No, you shouldn't. It's still probably no, but you've started the conversation and now you've planted that seed with your boss that if the answer is no, it should be no with qualifications. So they come back and say, no, listen, we're not, yeah, I just don't see it. We're not going to be able to do the move, or we're not going to be able to get you more money. It's not going to be able to happen. Okay. That's not a no for you. That's a, okay, well, what would it take for this to occur for me to be able to have that move, to get that other work? What would it take for me to be able to get that raise beyond what I'm currently doing? And at that point, now you are setting the stage for either a raise, like you want to have the move, or you now know this may not be the place for you long term. And now you get to have other decisions but you've done the work to do those things. Okay. That's what I'm getting at. That's the end of the day. This is all about, folks. You have to be able to advocate for yourself. You need to do those things. You can't expect the boss to do it for you. You can't expect anyone else to do it for you. Speak up, but you need to do the research and preparation prior to speaking up and provide that professional courtesy to the boss ahead of time. And you're going to be more likely to get what you want. Now, I've used this strategy my entire career. My entire career has always been built on, I'm going to build the base case. Here's where I want to go. Here's what I need to do. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to talk to the boss and show him I've done the thing. So I want to go do that. It's been the theory that I've used, and I've had a near vertical career until I started doing this work over here. But that's the principle that I just want to share with everybody here. So again, I appreciate everybody who's hung out this long. Again, just ask, folks. Don't be afraid to, and I think you're going to be amazed at what happens. Okay. So again, for business owners, just as a reminder out here, I understand the struggles you have. You're building your business. You are spending time on your business. You're in it, and you're getting closer to the point where, like, I'd really want to be able to sell this thing, and you don't know, like, can I even sell this thing? What's it worth? And you talk to your friends at the golf course, and they're going to give you like, oh yeah, you should get 3.2 multiple on this. And then they don't do it for a living. They just have talked to other people who have sold their business. And well, the concern that I have with that is twofold. One, okay, you want to sell for a multiple of 3.2. That's what everyone tells you. What if your business is actually, you can command a 7x multiple instead of 3.2? That is one of the ones that I keep running into folks with. They're like, yeah, I think I'm going to get 3 on this. We do the evaluation, which is down below. There's an assessment from my value builder assessment. Links down below. It takes like 15 minutes. And you're going to see the number that kicks out the other side, which is going to help us understand the current multiple that your business can sell for. But it's also going to give us a list of things to work on across 8 drivers of value for your business. That if we work on those, guess what? Your multiple is going to go up, and you're going to be able to get more money for your business, which means you're going to have more money for your retirement. Right? So that is one of the things that when I always worry about the golf course folks. They got their ideas like, hey, it's 3.2 over here. When in reality, just talked with someone, they were north of 6 on their multiples, what they should be asking for. And when we went and talked to the broker, the broker was in agreement, yeah, between 6 and 7. So that's why I just want you to understand those things here, okay? So with that, I appreciate everybody who hung out this long.